Welcome, everybody. This is your Beyond the Basics social media growth and lead generation webinar, sponsored kindly by IPTF. Now, we are here to help mortgage and protection advisors really stand out in their business and online, but actually make it commercially viable. Okay, I appreciate we want to help people. I know we all want to build our businesses, but we've got to make it commercially viable. So for those of you who are new to this kind of training, this is what you're going to be learning today, but please do catch up on YouTube, the IPTF YouTube channel, where we've got lots of resources and other professionals as well, friends of mine in the industry who have produced excellent content for IPTF too. So you can catch up on so much learning. But today, we're going to specifically be focusing on how to turn attention into action through content and how to move people from awareness to trust, simple ways to nurture your audience without adding more pressure to your week, and then content structures that advisors can use to build credibility and start better conversations, a repeatable approach that you can always use straight after the session. Now, as always, I do like these sessions to be interactive, so please use the chat box to ask your questions as we go. Don't wait for your questions at the end, because if we don't have time to answer everybody's questions, you miss out. So please, whilst something is in your mind, if it pops into your head, just literally put it in the chat box, and Joe and I will then pick like the best questions. And if I haven't already answered them, then I will prioritize them to answer them. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rosalia Lazzara Tilly. I always need to add my married name. Why do I keep forgetting that? Rosalia Lazzara Tilly. And I'm the founder of Manuka Media and MyMobi.ai. Now, I've been in the mortgage and finance industry for 11 years this year, and I entered this industry in 2015, not having a clue what a bridging loan was, let alone having like even my own mortgage, right? I didn't even have a residential mortgage. So I came in completely clueless. Now, what happened through the course of those 11 years was I went from being a packager, so I actually worked for a master broker, and then I worked for a lender. So I got to see your side, how to, the broker side with the client facing contact. And then I also got to see the lender side. Now, if anyone has been following my journey from day one, you'll know, and if you don't know, my business started during the middle of the pandemic. I got made redundant from a national bridging lender. And at that crossroads, I had to decide whether or not to go for another BDM job or to start my own business. Now, I don't know what kind of unhinged behavior I was going through during 2020, but I decided to start a marketing business, not a PPE business, which would have probably been a lot more profitable and lucrative at the time. But the reason I started Manuka Media, guys, right? I did not have this whole yellow suit and yellow branding and everything about the bees and the birds chirping, right? This was not like a premeditated plan. All I knew was that after 7 years working with mortgage and protection advisors, I knew that we have access to the most life-changing knowledge that doesn't get taught in schools, right? And there's been a big topic around this at IPTF about education in schools. So definitely catch up on that or ask Joe. Now, I'm really passionate about that. And so I looked at our industry and I thought, this is the sexiest industry to be on Instagram, okay? Why are we talking about Botox on social media when we should be talking about our pension? And then you can get some Botox if you want. So that's really where I was coming at it from, because 2020, mortgage brokers were quite like hesitant about sharing this knowledge on social media. They weren't really forthcoming with this information. And I was like, guys, we need to make, that was the mission for Manuka Media. We need to make property, money, and finance more human, more relatable, and more accessible to everyday society, because this is the stuff that I've experienced it. I left university as a university degree graduate, and I didn't have a clue about mortgages. I didn't have a clue about pensions. Now, what am I going to do with my degree? Like, what else is there to life? Like, you need your strong pillars in life, your health and your wealth. So this is the industry that we represent, guys. So that is exactly why I'm passionate about helping you, the advisor, become the expert and the go-to advisor that is sharing this knowledge on social media. So I want to go through the difference between trust and attention. Now, social media up until this point has been seen as the attention platform. This is where you get attention, right? But attention is not the goal. Trust is. So an old thought is seeing social media as a posting platform. You think, you know what? I'll go on social media and just post. The new thought I want you to have is social media is a decision-making journey. When you see it like that, your attitude towards the followers and connections that you have and the content that you post suddenly changes. Because if you see it as a post and ghost and dump your ideas and walk away and hope the leads land in your inbox, you are not going to be nurturing your client through that decision-making process. The wrong metrics that I see advisors monitoring are likes, views, comments, and follower count, most of which are you can actually buy followers, and you can actually very easily get likes and views if you actually pay attention to the algorithm on Instagram, for example. If you don't know what I'm talking about, follow me on Instagram and you will see how I sometimes post content that I know is going to get viral likes, or like a lot of likes. And when I post content that is my version of a commercial signal, which is this going to get me a profile visit? Is it going to likely get me a DM? Is it going to get me, my favorite metric is when people see me and they're like, how's your cat? They know about my cat. They know Matt. Literally everyone in my circle knows who my husband is because I post about my journey. I post about my stories. That is the best trust signal over likes. And so I want you to have this old thought, new thought transition here, because this is beyond the basics, right? This is not about what cute hashtags you should use and what good looks like when it comes to likes and follower count. This is about understanding the signals that are beyond the transaction, the signals of people actually engaging with you. So if you only get 15 likes and 2 comments, but when you look at them, they're actually from your ideal customer, you're winning. If you're getting 3,000 likes and you've no clue who they are and where they're from, that's just vanity. So new thought, some of your best leads are not engaging with your content. They are absorbing it. I've got proof of this, endless proof. Sorry to put you on the spot, Jag, but can you tell everybody how you came from being a stranger to being a client, if you don't mind, Jag?
Yeah, no problems at all. Hi everyone. So basically, I was pretty anti-social media, and I actually got so fed up with LinkedIn that I deleted it for 8 years. I then got convinced that I needed to go back on it, so I went back on it and I started, following people in the mortgage industry and the protection industry, etc. And what I found about Roz was that she was super genuine, so I connected with her, and immediately, I thought this was such a personal touch. She left me a voice note in my LinkedIn inbox, and I thought, wow, she's not selling me anything. She's just saying, hi, nice to connect with you. Hope you're well. Have a good day. And I thought, that's super personal. And I sort of replied back and I sort of said, that's really nice of you to say. And we just got talking. And then she kind of laid into me and said, why aren't you doing social media? So here we are.
Yeah, thank you, Jag. That was it. Literally, he just connected. He had been following my content, and I just reached out saying, "Hi, thanks for engaging. Like, thanks for connecting. Really nice to have you here." And I can show you the screenshots. Like 2 months later, or something like that, he messaged me saying, "Anyway, I see you everywhere. Can we have a meeting? We need to have a chat." So I don't know where my next client is going to or what they look like until they land in my inbox. but I know that they're watching. And I've got that example with Jag. I've got that example with Sarah, who's also on the call. I've got that example with George. George was a great example, George Eleftheriou, because he's like ex-banking. He's registered his own like limited company and became a specialist finance broker, never posted a day in his life. And then randomly he lands in my inbox. So these are some post ideas that you can screenshot from here right now. So these are content for the silent watchers. So these are things that people are quietly considering behind the scenes without really telling you. Because guys, think about it. Your topic is very sensitive. What do you expect? Someone to comment on your post saying, yeah, I've got terrible credit score, help me. Like, they're not going to publicly announce that, are they? They're not going to also tell you, oh my gosh, like I haven't got enough savings and I'm actually quite worried about, critical illness. They're not going to publicly tell you this. They are going to be quietly making that decision, right? And it's a very British thing to do as well. When you walk into a shop and you're like, no, I don't need any help. I'm just browsing. That's what we do on social media. We're just browsing. So income protection is very emotional, right? So consider this. A lot of people do not avoid protection because they're lazy. They avoid it because it brings up fear, illness, money, mortality, family, responsibility and vulnerability. Let's face it, like that element, okay, is not so sexy on social media. It's actually quite morbid sometimes. It's actually quite sensitive. It's really challenging, right? So I do appreciate that. You can't expect to jump on and be like, so let's talk about protection. Like, no matter how much enthusiasm and charisma you've got, that topic is still going to be quite tricky. So instead of saying income protection is so important, guys, you have to have income protection, just consider how your content can start to lower the emotional barriers. And I'm going to share with you the exact 3 types of resistance when it comes to protection that I've identified it as, right? So number 1, there's the practical resistance. That is literally like, I don't understand it, right? Really practical. Then there's the financial resistance. That is, I don't want another monthly cost. Yeah, I know how you're feeling, guys, because you're thinking, yeah, but you've got Netflix, you've got Prime, you've got, all the subscriptions in the world. Yet for £5, would you really not have world cover? Like, I get it. Like, to you, it's rational and it makes sense. But to them, it's another financial resistance. Then there's the emotional resistance. And that is, I don't want to think about something bad happening. Then show them how to create content for each one. So like, this is that emotional thing of like, I don't want to sit here and watch you on Instagram talk to me about how my kid might have, cancer one day, right? It's horrible. It's icky. So example, for practical content, what income protection actually does in plain English. So literally explain what it is. Now, that's going to be quite boring, okay? You're going to need to do that. But you could also do something fun and explain it. If you've got children, you can explain it to your kids and say, here's how I would explain income protection to my 5-year-old. Right? So you're having fun and you're introducing a side to you that we may not have seen if you were just sticking to the corporate jargon, which is you would have just told us the facts and the features of income protection. And actually, you're not including your lifestyle and your personality. So just that slight touch of how you would play with income protection. You could also, has anyone seen those like memes or videos around how someone explains like mental health using a candle and how like a candle burns out, or how someone has explained a cup and then you fill that cup, like the cup has got like coffee or Coca-Cola in it, and then they run water through it and the Coca-Cola cleanses itself out because the Coca-Cola comes out but the water stays in. Do you see what I'm talking about, guys? Thumbs up. So something like that, a unanimous object, like an object that becomes relatable, use that to explain practical content, right? So that's a top tip that you can have there. Now, financial content. So you can explain why the cheapest policy is not always the most useful policy. So rather than trying to convince someone that income protection is not actually that expensive when you think about it saving your life, so you're kind of pushing it upon them because you're saying, yeah, but think about it, it's only £5 and this can actually save your child. you're forcing them to have that subscription that they already have a resistance to. So maybe understanding the quality of protection, what does what, and why the prices are what they are. So the value, so drive the value there instead. And then there's the emotional content, which is why protection conversations can feel uncomfortable and why that and exactly why that matters. So what I'm trying to say here is address the problem head on. You know, don't be like, oh, it's cool, guys. Like, it's not icky. Actually, be relatable by accepting and be understanding about how someone actually feels. Don't just assume like, oh, it's not emotional for me, so why should it be for you? But also you can actually give something I didn't put on there. So I'm Italian, right? So talking about, I know what was in my grandma's wheel. I bet Jag's laughing in the background because he's Indian and he knows. And we've been speaking about how similar our cultures are. But I knew what was on my grandmother's will. I knew when she changed it. I knew what happened when certain things happened in our family. Then my mum would call me and say, what do you think I should do if this happened to dad or if this happened to this? So I know about my family's finances, okay? And I know everything. I mean everything, right? So that's really uncommon in English, like British families. So talk about that. Talk about like how uncomfortable it is to talk about. So talk about the emotions. Don't sell me protection. Talk about the uncomfortable emotions of how it feels to talk about money with your family, how you can have better conversations around money with your partner. Something we also do, by the way, and I'm actually I wasn't expecting to say this out loud, but I will because it's coming to my head. My husband and I teach a marriage course twice a year at the local Catholic church. I don't know if you guys have seen my post about this, but because we got married in a Catholic church, we had to do the course. When we came back from our honeymoon, the priest was like, right, we're handing it over to you. You guys can teach it. So we teach it twice a year. And in this, one of the modules, because we inherited like a previous training program and we've adapted it ever since, but a tiny training model within the curriculum was financial matters, right? I have blown up that curriculum, like that's like takes up most of that day, and it happens to be like when the feedback people say it was like their favorite session. But I have that conversation, and what I was going to say about what I wasn't expecting to say today is we're actually looking for a financial advisor or mortgage and protection advisor sponsor who actually wants to come in, and I'm just going to float it out there, the idea, but someone who actually wants to come in and do the session with or instead of me. And then what that enables that advisor to, so because I can't give financial advice, I'm just giving my opinions, but that financial advisor can actually answer some really pertinent questions. And off the back of it, guess what you get? Leads. So there you go. So if anyone actually wants to be in a room with these engaged couples who are about to get married and wants to talk about serious financial conversations, come and talk to me, because I am literally doing the course on my own, and me and Matt will talk about our personal stories about how we chose to invest, how we used equity in our property to buy to lets, how we chose to do, he's got his own pension and I've got my own private pension. Like, we talk about it all, but only from a perspective of this is what me and Matt do, rather than from like a standard financial advice point. So that's just a by the by. Now, content. Here's your old content mix that gurus and even me would have taught you, like educate, inspire, entertain, and promote. Those are literally like, you're either funny, and if you're not funny, you better be bloody good at educating because no one's laughing. So you're going to have to be one or the other. Okay. So, and inspirational, right? That's another one. I think that Jag, we're going down the inspirational route because he truly is, like the way he talks, his philosophy. So we've identified that Jag is going to go down more like inspiration and education. Whereas other people might be a little bit funnier. Jag, you're hilarious, but like other people might have like a more of a like a comedic channel. Your new content mix, you are a protection advisor, right? You are a mortgage and protection advisor. You are here to reassure. You're here to reframe old thoughts. You're here to reshape someone's thinking that have not been opened up to that way of thinking. You're here to reveal, like show, tell. You're here to be relatable, guys. These are topics that, why do you think IPTF have done the 7 stories or the 7 families? It's relatable. It's real people and requests. So like what I mean by request is give people a platform to be able to take that information and give them access to your knowledge. So here's some content examples. Again, this is another screen share moment. I don't want to like read War and Peace to you and read everything. But yes, so if you're going to reassure, so an example there is how to make your client feel safe. So what happens when you speak to an advisor about protection, or really reassuring them about like why I don't charge as an advisor, or being really transparent and saying this is how I get paid from an insurance provider. So this doesn't cost you, I don't charge you, but this is, you know, you should be aware that this is how we earn our money. So you can tell them and reassure them about the exact process. What happens if you need to make a claim? This is the exact process step by step. And again, IPTF, I've got so many useful videos and resources to help you do this. Now, on the IPTF webinar that I was on, there was a lot of chat about, can you make educational videos, blah, 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 blah. Now, these educational videos have been made for you, and they are very like, high level corporate, like, you know, there's a little bit of music in the background. That, guys, if it were me as the advisor, I would literally translate that into a video of myself. You can say exactly what it says on that video, and you can use that video as your guide and as your script, but your face is going to be a lot more relatable to your clients. So if you're sending them out videos, give them your face if you can. Right? I know some people are like, oh no, I hate myself on video. I've just created, by the way, a video. If you're talking about hating yourself on video, let me tell you what has just happened to me. AI hates my face. Okay. AI video has made me squinty, moody, aggressive. Like it's really weird. So I've never hated myself more on camera. But if you can use something like Synthesia, for example, you can upload a 1 minute video of yourself. I can show you in a minute, actually, if we've got time. But literally, you can upload a picture, upload 1 minute video of yourself talking, and then it does the video calls for you. Like it does like a whole video, 4 minute video about income protection using your face. You can tell it's AI, but it's incredible. In fact, I'm gonna try and jump in now and show you, because this is for those who, obviously, I prefer my own face, but of course, AI is something that I'm massively investing in right now. I've even built my own AI app for advisors, which we can look at later. Right, it's not loading, so I'm going to have to just abandon that for a second. But yeah, so that's something else you can do. So you could literally plug in your ideal content, even the content that you get from Mobi, my app. You could plug it into Synthesia, and it converts it into a video. So I would try and set yourself a target to make as many content pieces from this content mix. And again, if you haven't got time, you can use Mobi, like I said, my platform, and you can prompt it to say, make these, right? Okay, now this is where we're going to get into lead generation. So I've given you some post ideas to put out there. Now let's look at the difference between selling posts and next step posts. There's a big difference here, because obviously for financial promotions and for compliance, we can't sell, right? But you can absolutely create next step posts to help people along the journey. Because remember, our new thought about social media is how this is a customer journey decision platform. So a selling post would give a call to action like book a call with me. Whereas a next step post is more about, here is a simple thing to check. If you do not know how to answer, that is a good sign to get advice. So like, for example, here's a simple way to check your sick policy, right? Your sick pay policy. Here's a simple way to check your emergency fund, or here's a quick way to analyze how long your emergency fund will actually last you if XYZ would happen. Or my favorite, really, download this free guide that will assist you to do XYZ. Now, that is the difference between a booked call and a micro conversation, as I call it. Now, that's the difference between identifying a lead as only, oh, well, how many calls have I got in the diary? How many DMs have I got saying, oh my gosh, where have you been all my life? I actually need 7 policies. Like, of course, everyone would love that in their inbox, but that's not how people buy today. You need to be alert. You need to be on high alert when it comes to micro conversations. So a lead is not someone that's always booked in your diary. A lead is, for example, Jag, who quietly sends me a connection request. I'm like, lead, because I'm thinking he's a mortgage advisor. Why the hell would he want to connect with me? Now, I'm not saying everyone's going to buy from me, but I'm seeing that as an alert. I'm seeing that as a signal that Jag could be potentially interested in something I'm doing. So other signals are things like people downloading a checklist, people downloading or replying on a poll. Like you could set up a poll and say, which one, if you're a family of two with a young family, which one do you think is the most crucial protection to have, or like the primary protection? Is it this, or this? You know, so you can get people to vote, or asking a question and then getting a reply. You can do this in your Instagram stories, because you remember Facebook in the old days, in like 2008, when you used to publicly post on someone's wall saying you're coming out tonight, or have you seen my MySpace? That used to be public. Every conversation, every thought, every idea, every what we now call DM, that used to be all public. Today, everything is done in private. We want smaller circles. We want that, you know, those, for example, that's why in school started, or telegrams, if you've seen telegrams. So start a telegram, guys. That is a great way to get your community. Don't start too many things at once, right? Just pick a platform. Like if you're strongest on Instagram, just choose to build a telegram on there and say, like, come into my telegram. This is where I'll update you on XYZ. So that is a much better way to get a better lead, more qualified leads, than having 12,000 followers. Another signal is people attending a webinar. Right? When was the last time you hosted a free webinar about, and please do not host a webinar about income protection or how protection works. Let's actually in the chat box help each other by suggesting, without looking at ChatGPT, please, suggesting cool titles for what a webinar should sound like. So if I don't want you to name your webinar Explore Income Protection or Discover How Protection Works, what is a better title, do you think? The Secret to Keeping Your Home. Okay. Stay in your dream home forever. Yeah, that's giving me a lot of like interior design vibes, or that's giving me a lot of like real estate vibes. Scaling your property portfolio. Yes, Jag, for you personally, yes, definitely. Scaling your property portfolio with ease. But Jag, something tighter. Give the outcome. How to go from 0 to 12x properties in 12 months or in 18 months, or how to grow your portfolio with no money down. Like, instead of just scaling your property portfolio is very generic, start going deeper into the ideal customer that you're talking to. Yes, Jack, good. Protect your family. Yes, Vicky, in principle, yes, but very basic, very generic, very like protect your family with what though? Like SPF? Like, sorry, I'm just being, facetious there, but you know what I mean? It's not really key words there, right? Any other ideas? One that I just kind of thought of right now is how to talk to your family about money, or how to have the uncomfortable conversations about money, health, and protection with your spouse. Do you see the difference? I'm speaking to, like, let's say how women, so again, even more specific, how women can take ownership of their financial well-being and resilience after a divorce. Like, that is how granular you need to be. That is how specific you need to be. So give it another bash, guys. There's no bad answers, because as you can see, the people that did put something down, they ended up getting some advice and coaching out of it. So now that I've given you this example, give it another stab. Think about it. Think about the ideal customer that you want to attract. What new webinar title could you pick for yourself today? So like my marriage course one would be how to help engaged couples, helping engaged couples have the uncomfortable conversation about money, or how to help engaged couples have the uncomfortable conversation about money before they get married, or this is the conversation to have with your fiance before you get married. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, this is the conversation, this is the money conversation to have with your spouse before you get married. Buy a business within 6 months with none of your money. Perfect, Jag. That is another great theme for your business specifically. And if guys, if you're wondering why that has nothing to do with protection, it's just that Jag is a specialist finance broker and also helps with M&A. So a little bit different. Sally said, limited company directors, balance your business and your home. Yeah, so limited company directors, balance your business and your home. It's that balance bit. It's not, so limited company directors, top marks, because I know who you're talking to. But what are you trying to get them to do? What are you actually going to talk about on this webinar? So if you say balance your business and your home, what is that like time-saving tips? Is that organizational tips? Do you see what I mean? So really give in the title, really make it obvious why someone cannot miss this webinar. So, Sarah, I don't know if you're still on the call, but I wanted to, she's not expecting this, and I wasn't expecting Sarah to come to the call. I didn't realize she was coming, but I just wanted to use her as a great example how she has, and we've worked on this together, like she has massively, massively changed. Like I don't even recognize her from the lady who came 2 years or nearly 3 years ago to the Social Selling Hive event that I once hosted to who she is today. I mean, who the hell is she? Sarah, if you're here, darling, I'm happy for you to unmute yourself and talk about like your camera confidence journey and the lead magnets and, you know, anything like that. So feel free to... Oh, she is here. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I'm just about to part. Yeah. So
we can barely...
I stalked you for about 12 months before we met, and then I came to a came to you face to face and was like, you know, I've been watching you and I'd love to work with you. And then it was probably a year after that, really, wasn't it, that we finally got to do this. And it would I say life changing? Yes, I probably would. You know, I got a lot of followers from it. And I do need to speak to you again, by the way, because I've evolved again.
Yes. You
recently. Yeah. So I'm starting to evolve again into another new me. So I have loved the journey with you, and the camera confidence that you've given me is it's been much appreciated.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, babe, like Sarah, but it's not. Thank you. I didn't ask you for the test. I was asking more about what have you been doing, because yes, thank you for the thank yous and everything, but really it's you. Like you are putting in the work, guys, right? So yes, I did a 1 day, like we created 3 months of content in 1 day, and then we advised Sarah on her lead magnet and her landing page and all that kind of stuff. But you have to put the work in, and I know how little time Sarah has and how hard it is to squeeze this in when you've got a mortgage business that changes overnight because of the lenders and because of the economy. So it is hard work. But this is the difference between doing this work with intention and strategy versus just blagging something on social media, random post here and there. And I know, like, again, sorry to use Jag as an example, but Jag's at the very beginning of his journey with me, unlike Sarah. And actually, we've had to park some of these ideas for Jag momentarily, just short term, because Jag is really trying to get his head around personal branding in the first place. Whereas, like, trying to build lead magnets and landing pages for Jag in the early days might feel a little bit too much. Also, because he still has to explore who he is and like what he wants to be known for. So your journey will evolve. It takes time. This is something I've done for myself, for example. So On Brand is a very new recent venture, but what I've done with it is I've created a YouTube channel for the purpose of engagement, attraction, attention. But the value comes from when you're part of that YouTube channel, when you're actually watching it. Not only have I created a video that is 1 hour and 47 minutes, by the way, the whole video is 1 hour and 47 minutes about my secrets from start to finish, how I would build my brand and generate leads on LinkedIn. So if someone's willing to watch me for 1 hour 47 minutes, I'd only want 30 people to do that, not 300,000 views. So these are the low-hanging fruit, the people that are super fans, right? This is how to create your super fans, okay? Do you see what I'm saying? These people are coming to you every time you've got a webinar, every time you've got a lead, like a guide, every time you've got a freebie, people are like hot on it. They're like, wow, this is my girl, like this is my guy, this is the person that I go to. And then I give them a lot of value. This is how you get that interaction, how you get that community feeling, and how you get the loyalty from your followers. So this is something we've built for me, but also something we build for clients as well. But I'm giving you my secret so you can do it for yourself too. And I've just shown you two examples of how we've done that. Here's another example, just a really simple newsletter, but I'm telling you what you're going to get out of it. I'm not saying, oh, join my newsletter. I'm actually saying to you, these are actionable tips, free templates, free strategies, and then I'm showing you a preview of the value you're actually going to get out of it. Again, nice, simple Canva job, guys. Obviously, it took a while to create these like guides, but just start with one. Just create one magnet, like Jag, that magnet you just said, like how to buy a business that cash flows. Remember, give the goal as well. How to buy a cash flowing business, an established cash flowing business with no money down. Here's my free guide. Boom, put all your value in there, put all your education in there, and then share it for free. But in exchange, guys, don't just blurt it out there for free. As a bare minimum, get people's contact details, right? So, buying signs. Who knows what the 7-Eleven 4 is? In the chat box. Don't Google it. Don't ChatGPT it. Just tell me what the 7-Eleven 4 is. Right. Do you know what that means, guys? The amount of time someone... Yes, thank you, Sally. Thank you. Because I was about to say, that means none of you have read my book. Oh, who has read my book? Put your hand up. Can't see everyone. Well, I can't see everyone because they're on... But if you haven't read my book, there is a whole chapter in here, okay, about... I've called it the 4711 because I felt like it sounded... but yeah, it's on page like 37, actually 35, chapter 2, Becoming Visible. Don't worry, I'm not going to start reading to you. But on page 37, there is the formula 4117 or 7-Eleven 4. This is... The goal is... I'm waiting for my signed copy. Don't worry you. The goal is more touch points, more visibility with clients equals more trust and more leads. So this is, Sally said it right. This is before someone buys from you, they usually need more exposure, more context, and more trust than we think. So the 7-Eleven 4 is commonly linked to Google's 0 moment of truth thinking. The idea is that someone is ready to buy. The idea is that before someone is ready to buy, they may need around 7 hours of engagement with your brand, 11 touch points, and 4 different locations or formats. Can you pop in the chat, please? What was the last thing? Don't try and make the answer clever. What was the last thing you bought online and it got shipped to your door? Go. Portable fan. Yeah, I can believe it. Food shopping, soap bottles, yeah, air freshers, clothes rail. I bought a honey hair mask, obviously, a wedding tool. So when you bought this item, what did you look at? Like, how did you find this item? Put it in the chat box. Facebook feed, Google, Amazon. And what do you look at when it lands on Google? What do you then look at? How do you know you're going to... Exactly, reviews. Perfect. Right. So your content and your reviews and your, if you've been featured in a podcast, these are live signals and live exposure to that client Googling, because they need to be able to see your brand. And as anyone, just out of curiosity, do you ever come off like, you know, you're going to buy it, like this Korean face mask, right? You're like, I'm definitely going to buy it, right? But then you get sidetracked and you don't buy it. How many more times do you see that Korean face mask? Like, it shows up on Facebook, it shows 11 billion, yeah. It shows up on Facebook, it shows up on Instagram, it shows up everywhere. And eventually you're like, oh, for goodness sake, I'm just going to have to try this because the reviews look amazing. That is what we're talking about when we say 7-11-4. So if you're just posting on one channel, one platform every now and again, you are nowhere near the formula. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's a sales formula at the end of the day. You are not working this formula and you're not going to get the leads. Now, that's why I said earlier that my favorite metric is not the likes, is not the follow, because trust me, I'm not really that like huge on social media when it comes to likes and followers. But as soon as I walk into an event, everyone's like, I know you immediately. But they may not be very public at giving me a like or a comment, but they know me. And that is my favorite metric, is that they've seen enough of me that they don't just know of me, they know stuff about me. They know I wear yellow. They know my husband's called Matt. They know I have a cat. They know what I stand for. They know what I do. They send me yellow clothes, like literally in my inbox. People are sending me clothes saying, oh, Ros, you should so buy this. And yeah, that's obviously costing me a lot of money. So yeah, that is exactly what my online presence has allowed people to feel and experience. So these are your signals. These are your buying signal, guys. So someone's viewing your post, or you post something and then someone visits your profile. That is a really good buying signal, because you can get 300,000 likes on an Instagram reel, but if you only get 2 profile visits, those 300,000 likes mean nothing. And then someone saving your post without commenting. So you know when you get those posts where people just save, someone watching your stories, or someone that watches your stories and likes every one of your stories, right? Doesn't mean you have got the permission to message them and say, do you need protection? But just know that they are curious about, they're interested in you. They're taking the time to listen to what you have to say. So open up the dialogue and listen to them. Someone asking a question. I get questions about investing, and I'm not a mortgage broker. Like, I literally get people saying, oh, Ros, I saw that you bought a couple of buy-to-lets. I'm on my journey too. And then I refer them to my clients, like as a lead. I say, look, I can't give you financial advice. Here's what I did, but if you need a broker, speak to XYZ. So someone asking a quick question, nurture that relationship. They are interested in your opinion. And then, by the way, turn that question into a post. If that someone said to you, would you rather, or would you prefer me having income or this or that, like whatever their question is, turn it into a post. Yeah, and then you have all the other examples as well. Or someone who says like, oh, I've been meaning to message you. I've been following you for ages. Those are the other buying signals. So old thought is measuring your success where, like in this formula, where you post, you get a like, you get a DM, and you get a sale. You think that that's the tracker, right? Whereas actually the formula, the new thought is, how can I get repeated exposure, increase my familiarity, develop more trust, get that private question, get that person in my DMs, start private conversations, and get that advice conversation, get it into offline. Now, I don't know if you guys have been through any of this training, becoming AI searchable. Our new Google is ChatGPT and Claude. We now search for things in our AI engine. But this is your biggest superpower now, because guess what? You're not having to pay Google fees, right? And Google pay-per-click and Google ads just to be searched or to rank on page 1. You are now searchable. Someone actually also found my podcast, The Money Honey, by searching, hi ChatGPT, can you give me the best female property podcasts out there? And mine came up, and she actually messaged me. She goes, Ros, I didn't even know this was possible. I already know you, but I found you on ChatGPT and I didn't know you had a Money Honey podcast. So your existing clients are now going to AI for advice. I've just rang the vet and got the most unhelpful answer. So frustrating that I'm now going to go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to help me with my cat related question. That is where we've got to. So if you can make your content AI searchable, you are winning. Okay. So clients are going to be putting into AI, do I need income protection if I'm self-employed? What should I ask a protection advisor when applying for XYZ? Or can you explain income protection very clearly? Or who is the best income protection advisor out there in the UK? That's what people are asking in AI. So your public content clearly, if your public content clearly answers those questions and explains your expertise and builds authority around repeated themes, you become the easier person to understand. You get recommended and you come to the surface. So here's some content for you that you can actually use to be more AI searchable. So number one, there's 5, okay? So number 1, answer real client questions publicly, not vague like income protection is important and here's why. The better version would be, what happens if I'm self-employed and cannot work due to illness? How long would my employer pay me if I was off sick? Is income protection worth it? Or if I've already got savings? These are questions that real clients are pondering and asking themselves. Heck, why don't you give it a go and go on to ChatGPT and ask these yourself and see what ChatGPT says? It may entice some ideas that you can definitely work with. Number 2, always explain it in plain English, because AI tools and humans need to both understand who you are and what you do. They need clarity. So avoid jargon heavy posts that sound clever, but they don't really answer the question. Number 3, repeat your specialist themes. Don't just go from, how to scale your portfolio to how to get on the property ladder, right? And why income protection is important. Really go in on a niche and stick to that niche. Become known for that. Doesn't mean you can't do other things, but really hone in, because AI, just like a human, needs to remember you for something. Number 4, build a public evidence base. This is so key. Back in 2020, everyone was a gatekeeper. And this is why the early adopters of social media within our financial industry and mortgage industry got ahead, because they understood and unlocked the secret between, we are whole of market mortgage brokers, call us today, versus the mortgage broker that was posting all the valuable knowledge and education. But now today we've kind of all cottoned onto that quite easily. So make that knowledge, evidence-based knowledge, public. So this is where your wording can become powerful. So your content is becoming your public proof of expertise. That's how you've got to think it. So that evidence base could be your LinkedIn post, your website. When was the last time you updated your website FAQs, your blogs, webinar replays? Did you do it? So for example, IPTF asked me, can we take snippets from this webinar and post it on social media? Absolutely. When was the last time you did, like I've done, like what we do for our clients, a 30-minute video explaining family and income protection, and or if you're self-employed, this is how you can protect your income, your home, and your family. We need these valuable resources that your clients can lean on. Have you been on someone's podcast? That is a great way to get traction on the internet. Client stories, case studies, we know all that. Google business profile. A lot of people don't update this enough. Have you been collecting your reviews on Google? This is really powerful. Guest articles. What other magazines and publishers are out there that you can guest write for? Because that is really where you start standing out as an authority. And number 5, make your profile clear. I can't stress enough how many people's profiles. We're currently doing this for Jag. We're going to be logging in soon and updating his profile, his LinkedIn, his Instagram. But so many people use LinkedIn like a CV, but they actually want to be known for being an income protection specialist, right? Or they want to be known for a self-employed mortgage advisor. Make your profiles clear, because AI reads the SEO, right? It reads the keywords on your profile to relate. So Rosalia, and recently for me, it's been a little bit murky. So I'm going through a new transit. As Sarah said, I'm reinventing myself as well, because up until this point, I've just been known as Rosalia Manuka Media and, social media queen, whatever. Whereas now I also want to be known as an AI creator. I've got an AI business. I've got a SaaS product. So now I'm re-educating my platforms to reposition me as like, hold on a minute, but Rosalia talks about personal branding, like she's all over personal branding. But at the same time, how do we talk about AI? Like, if you think about it, it's just such an oxymoron, because how can you be personal branding and AI? But I'm trying, I don't care. I'm not trying to win and test the algorithm here. I'm trying to be as authentically me as possible. I want to post and write about things that light me up and that actually make sense for my business, rather than what I think the algorithm wants. But as a bare minimum, I do need to tell my LinkedIn profile and my Instagram profile who I am, who I help, what I'm about. Those keywords need to match what I post about. If I tell LinkedIn that I am an AI queen, but I talk about property investment, do you see how the system's going to get confused? And that is something that I've come to peace with, by the way. I'm consciously aware that I am not pigeonholing myself entirely. And I'm only saying this because I'm 6 years into my business. But if I was to start again, I would make myself known for one thing. In fact, after my holiday, when I get back, I may just reinvent myself so drastically that I may just come back and just talk about AI only. Like Moby, to blow up Moby. Like, I need to grow that. Obviously, that still feeds into personal branding. So you really need to ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? Who can I help? I will still have the niche of like working with mortgage advisors and mortgage brokers, but what I help you guys with, the tone may change. You may still be hugely fond of helping families, but what you show them and what you support them with may change. So we are now going into Q&A time, because we did start a few minutes late, so I'm happy to go until 5 past if everyone else is. But if you have to drop off, you absolutely can. And thank you for being here. But yeah, just I wanted to leave you with this last thought, that trust isn't built when someone meets you for the first time. It's actually built through repeated positive interactions, both online. And if I had another hour with you, my God, I could do a whole other webinar about offline. Okay, what you do offline almost matters more than what you do online. Online is how we tell the story. And this is something I've like discussed with clients before, where they're like, oh, Ross, can you make my content interesting? I want it to be engaging. I'm like, yeah, so tell me that something that's interesting about you. Like, I can't make your content interesting if you're not interesting. Like, what are you doing offline? So please, like Sarah loves paddle. She plays paddle all the time. Jag loves walking with his dogs and walking in nature, and he loves philosophy and he loves books. And I try and bring that content. I don't care about the algorithm. I'm like, I want you to be you. I want you to be yourself. I want to bring that into your content. You guys know, for those who follow me, I do a lot of networking. I speak at a lot of events, and that has actually become something I can't even put a price on, because when my clients work with me,
hang on a second, how do I turn this off?
when my clients work with me, they get the training and the content and everything, but something I can't even price up for them is the access to my community. Like, the people they meet through my networking, I've given them speaking gigs. I've got them. I even took Sarah to an event with me. Like, the people you get access to, because that's the stuff I'm working on offline. So build relationships before you actually need them. Introduce yourself to local communities, attend events, connect with people on LinkedIn after you've met them offline. Say hello, and then people will recognize you online and offline.